Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Hangout on Air. My name is Whitney, and I'm here at Google headquarters in Mountain View, California, joined again by my colleague Katie. Thank you so much for being here today. Always really appreciate it. So today we're going to cover some really cool things. We're going to be talking about some advanced remarketing features available within AdWords, specifically search analytics and video-based remarketing. So we're going to talk about generally what these features are and also some best practices and tips for implementing them in your accounts.
Yep, exactly. And if you guys have any questions along the way, if you're watching live, feel free to leave those for us. If you're watching from the AdWords community, you can just leave it as a post and we'll get to those later.
Yeah. So just to quickly redefine what remarketing is, it's a feature that allows you to show ads to users based on the fact that they have been to your site before. Remarketing can help you reconnect with users by showing them repeat ads as they browse the web, or kind of reconnecting them with your brand name as they search on Google. Most advertisers are aware of remarketing on display. If you've ever been on a website and seen an ad showing a picture of an item that you were just looking at in a shopping cart before, you know what remarketing is on display. But there are lots of other ways to use and implement this feature. It's just a really powerful tool for basically every advertiser. One recent feature that I think is really cool that happened in AdWords is something called remarketing lists for search ads, fondly known as RLSAs by us over here. Remarketing lists for search ads are, at their core, a feature that allows you to customize your search ad campaigns for users who have visited your site before. You can actually go ahead and tailor your bids, your ad text, your keywords based on the fact that the user is already kind of aware of who you are and primed for your brand and for your product and those sorts of things.
Yep.
When people leave your site without buying anything, for example, remarketing lists for search ads are a great way to kind of recapture their eye as they go back into search and continue to look for the same sort of product or service that you're offering. You can actually set your bids, customize ads, all those sorts of things, and really tailor this to what you need in your customer. So the really cool thing about it is that RLSAs use remarketing lists just like display remarketing, so pretty easy to get started with.
Yeah, exactly. There are kind of two main strategies that people typically use when you're looking at doing remarketing with a search campaign. You can broaden your keywords. So this allows you to know that you're targeting a very specific audience because you're using remarketing, but you can use some keywords that you might not normally bid on, and kind of expand that reach with those keywords because you know that they've been to your site before. So that's one strategy to use. It can help increase your sales. The other thing that you could do is increase your bids for those keywords when you're targeting a a remarketing list. So that helps you kind of be able to know that you're targeting a very specific audience. You know that they're interested in your business. They've been to your site before. So it would help to bid higher on those keywords or even bid higher on that remarketing list because you know that they're more likely to purchase. So you want a really good ad position. So those are kind of two main ways that you could use this strategy.
Yeah, I tend to advise that advertisers with longer tail conversions use RLSAs. I think it's a really powerful feature for those advertisers. So for example, if you notice that your user usually checks you out, then price checks a couple of other competitors, does some research before purchasing, you know, if you're a big ticket item, that sort of thing, RLSAs are going to be a great way for you to reel them back in once they've already done a little bit of that research before they buy. Super great feature for that. So, you know, now that we've kind of covered it theoretically, we want to show you how you can actually implement this within an account. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our account that we have here. Like any type of remarketing, you do actually need to put a snippet of code on your website to get this going. So if you haven't used remarketing before, you'll need to go in and create a list. But if you have, you'll be familiar with this already. So we're going to navigate to the shared library where this remarketing section is kept, and go ahead and go into audiences. Now, we've already used remarketing in this account before, so you'll notice that this already populates with lists. But if this is your first time using remarketing, you'll actually be taken to a page where you can go ahead, grab that snippet of code, email it to yourself or your webmaster, and get that going. If there's ever any questions about the code snippet itself, if you look in the top right corner, you'll see there's this little tag details box. This is where you can access all of this information about the code, what it looks like, send reports and instructions to you or whomever makes these changes to your site. Once you actually have this code there, the lists are going to populate with members who are eligible either for display and search marketing or one or the other. So you can actually keep track of these list sizes individually.
Yeah. And one thing to keep in mind for search remarketing is that you need at least 1,000 cookied users within that list before you can use it to target with a search campaign. So just keep that in mind. If you're interested in doing this, set up those remarketing tags as soon as possible so that you can start building that list. The reason why we require 100 users is that we want to protect the privacy of those people who you would be targeting. So that's the main reason. But once you have those 1,000 users in that audience list, you can go ahead and add it to a campaign and start targeting them. So what we're going to do is jump into a search campaign that we already have created, and I'll show you guys where you can add the remarketing list. So just to save time, like I said, we already have a search campaign created. It just is a normal search campaign with ads and keywords. And to target the remarketing audience, you go into the Audiences tab. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And then make sure that you are kind of in the right place looking at remarketing here. It's sometimes you can see different views depending on the type of campaign that you're in. But you'll go ahead and click Plus Remarketing. And then you'll add targeting. So you'll select your campaign and ad group, make sure everything is set there, and then you can add a remarketing list exactly there. So add targeting, and you'll see the audiences that you can add. So once you have added a specific audience list, that's really all that you need to do. You can set your targets and your bids for this list. You're still bidding on keywords. And one thing that's really cool about adding this list is that you can then set bid adjustments for it. So you can really tailor the type of bidding that you want to do and the focus that you have for your search campaign.
Yeah. And so the bid adjustments is super simple. Once you save that list, you'll actually see there's a bid adjustment column there, much the same as if you were doing a mobile bid adjustment or a location bid adjustment. Yeah. And you can bid up on certain audiences. It's almost infinitely customizable based on the needs of your business in terms of what you can do with a mix of keywords and remarketing lists. So definitely something I recommend any advertiser kind of think about using and playing around with. Like Katie had mentioned earlier, this is a really engaged audience. They're so close to becoming a converter. They're really valuable for you to target.
Yep, exactly. So that kind of wraps it up for the search remarketing piece of this. Very, very useful to use. We're going to talk about a second type of remarketing that you can do through Google Analytics. And I personally love Google Analytics. I think it's a great product. And if you already are using it, if you have your tag already set up, using it for remarketing is a really great option. You don't have to change anything about the way that you actually target these users in your AdWords campaign. Everything is set up the same there. The difference is that you just use the analytics code to build that audience list. So I'm gonna jump in there and show you guys how to do it. One thing to keep in mind as we transition over is that we are talking about analytics remarketing for display. It's not something that is available for search right now. So just want to make sure we make that transition over to display remarketing and analytics. So what we'll do is go ahead and under the admin tab, the first step is we need to change a setting that will allow your analytics remarketing or analytics code to do remarketing. So once you click admin in the property column, in this middle one, you'll go ahead and click on remarketing down in that list and then choose audiences. So this is where you are going to set up your specific list. One thing that you want to keep in mind is that you'll see some prompts here. If you haven't already linked an AdWords account, you'll be setting this up. So I want to show you this here first so that you guys get a sense of how to build the audience list, and then we'll talk about the slight change you need to make to your code. So we'll just let this load here for a second. Well, while it's loading, we're just gonna talk a little bit about what you can do with the audiences that you create here. So the main idea is that you build an audience list based off the segments that you already have in analytics. So you can do a list that targets somebody who has completed a goal, or somebody who has completed a transaction, someone who has had a certain number of sessions on your site. So you can use all of the analytics segments. You can create custom audiences there. That's the thing that I think I love the most about analytics remarketing, is it just gives you so many options for that. So it's pretty easy to create those audience lists. And once you do, it will automatically populate in AdWords. You don't need to do anything else. It'll show up in AdWords. You'll see the audience size there, and then you can target it in your campaign exactly as you would any AdWords audience list. So it's a pretty cool option. I also want to note the specific change you need to make to your code, because I know I've alluded to it a couple of times. you keep your tracking code the exact same as it is. You don't need to make any edits. And in the property settings, all you do is enable display advertiser features. It's just a little toggle, you turn it on, and that's all that you need to do as far as enabling that for remarketing. Make sure you do update your privacy policy though, to let users know that you are cooking them. That's one thing that you do need to do, but no changes to the code. It's really easy to do. So that's one of the great things about using analytics for remarketing.
Yeah, and although we weren't able to show you in an account, you can always check the Analytics Help Center, because that's going to have information about all of this regarding analytics remarketing, including that change to the code that Katie had mentioned, updating your privacy policy, and things like that.
Yep.
I love analytics, so it's a really cool feature. Another option for remarketing that you have, especially if you're an advertiser who has a lot of video content, is actually video remarketing. If you are already running video campaigns, or you have a YouTube channel and are thinking about running video campaigns, this is definitely something to consider. This will actually allow you to remarket certain videos on YouTube and our partner display sites that show video ads. Like all remarketing, it's going to be based on user behavior, but instead of with your website, it's specifically user behavior with your video content. You can show ads to users based on whether they've interacted or watched one of your videos before. Maybe they subscribed to your YouTube channel. Maybe they unsubscribed to your YouTube channel. Did they see your video ad previously? You know, have they even like searched your video channel and visited that page? All these sorts of really cool audience segments that you can target with this. The first step is pretty simple. Makes sense. You need to link your YouTube with your AdWords account. There's information about that in the AdWords Help Center if you have any questions there. And once you've done that, it's as simple as actually going in and making lists as if you were doing display or search remarketing and applying them to campaigns. So we're going to go ahead and show you where this is located within the AdWords account. You're actually going to want to, instead of going into the regular shared library, we would be going into something like all video campaigns. This particular account, let's see if it loads for us, unlike analytics here. Perfect. So the all video campaign section is where you'll find all things video related, your campaigns, as well as a specific shared library just for video ads. This is where you can do that linking and also create those remarketing lists. So just like as if you were doing a search or display based remarketing list, you go in here and you can actually click that plus remarketing list button and create a list based on, you know, whatever kind of audience you're hoping to target. This is super cool because there's not actually any code changes needed. It's as simple as having a YouTube channel, having an AdWords account, and creating a connection between the two there. You can decide on the list size, you can decide on, you know, the status, membership duration, all these good things here. And once that's saved, probably have to name it. And then, you know, once that's saved there, because we have a ton of lists already going, we could actually go ahead and apply them to campaigns. So go ahead and go into any one of these campaigns that you have going for your videos. And just like with any sort of retargeting, it's going to go into that targeting section. So for a video campaign, it's going to be the targets tab. For a display campaign, it's the display network tab. And for search campaigns, it's going to be the audiences tab there. Yeah. Really straightforward, kind of works the same way, just allows you to capture a different sort of audience if you are kind of a content-based advertiser with a lot of videos there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know we've talked about a lot of different types of remarketing. We want to make sure that we kind of give you a summary to make sure we're clear on all of the separate steps that you would take for each of them. So the first part, search remarketing, really great if you're wanting to kind of expand the keywords that you're targeting, if you want to drive more sales, if you get really good search traffic, but you want it to be a little more specific. Really great option to do that through AdWords. Analytics remarketing, we didn't get a chance to show you actually how to build those audience lists. You know where it is in the account. It walks you through the steps. It's pretty straightforward, but absolutely if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be happy to walk through that with you. And then as you have been talking about video remarketing, another great option if you're running video ads, if you have a YouTube channel, great way to do that on YouTube Display Network as well.
Yeah, and that's actually all we have for you guys today. So definitely some food for thought with all these remarketing marketing options. I think it's a great thing for any advertiser, whether you've been using AdWords for a week or for several years, to start thinking about doing with their campaigns. Really kind of kickstart things and take advantage of a more engaged audience. Any questions, like Katie said, feel free to send them out to us. We're always happy to help. But other than that, we hope you'll join us next time, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Bye.